Hello.
Yes, Sanjay.
Hi Sanjay, good morning.
You are there. Good morning. Hello, Siva. Siva is not there.
Sanjay.
How did the meeting start without him? Yeah, there you go. Siva is joining.
And you can, move them around. It is a much more powerful experience than pictures. Okay.
Swati, we have fraction kits. Can we use them?
You can use that, but there it is on the whole is only as a circle. I don't think the Jodogan has where you have the square as the whole or a strip as the whole.
No, those we'll have to make. Yeah.
Yes. So the square circle part, you can just go with the Jodogan. That is perfectly fine. But for the other two, you need to make. The thing is, when you get children to make, then it also consolidates various other aspects also. For example, you measurements get revisited, right? Their constructions and very precision and various other mathematical skills, they all get brushed up and become much more meaningful. The sense of perpendicular lines, parallel lines become very sharp. When you make the circles, fraction circles, angles get revisited quite strongly. So there are those added benefits also when you get children to make these things. What we usually recommend is get older children to make for younger ones. Okay. And since your schools have both primary and upper primary and then also secondary, you have that opportunity to do that whenever it opens. And the other thing, most important, I would say, what some of you have already done to an extent is use the same visuals and create the scratch sketches where you can quickly vary things and you can see multiple cases come out in a very, very short time. So that should be the ultimate goal, kind of. Okay. Now the other thing was to look into equivalent fraction, improper comparing fraction, addition, subtraction, etc. Using those manipulatives, etc. So it could have been done using pictures also, since your material is not yet ready. So did you try doing anything with the pictures? Okay, looks like you didn't. That's okay. So what I'll do is I will share with the state textbook that I was going through and see what they have done. There are some nice things there, and then we will get to other stuff as well. Now, if you remember, they talked about addition, subtraction of proper fractions before getting into, and also comparison of proper fractions before getting into improper and mixed fractions, right? And they don't bother spending time too much on like fractions. They kind of jump into uh, unlike fractions. So if you look at it, in the first case, they do like fractions, the first example of scores in science and mathematics. And then there is a similar situation with which involves unlike fractions. Okay, and so they start with word problems when they're comparing, which is a good idea. Okay, and then they talk about equivalent fractions, of course. Okay, and one of the things that I liked about this is in the exercises, uh, yeah. So here you see they are trying to compare two given fraction. In the first example, two unit fraction, and in the second case, two proper.
Hello.
To compare. So it's important for the second one that the child shades the top two or the bottom two, doesn't matter which two, but basically all the shaded parts should be together, and same for 5/8 also. All of the 5 shaded parts should be together, and then it becomes easier to compare. Okay, now once you shade that, it becomes obvious which is more and which is less. Okay, so they're using the strip aspect or even the square aspect of it in figuring out what is which is more, which is less. Also note, this way you can figure out which is more, which is less, but you don't know how much more or how much less. Okay, when you shade and do it nicely, you don't need to go to the equivalent fraction part. You can shade and figure it out even without. Okay, when it comes to equivalent unit fractions, or when the numerators are the same, you can figure out a rule. Okay, similarly, if you have, like, when you have like fractions, you can figure out a rule. Similarly, if you have the same numerator, you can again figure out a rule. Okay, so here is task 1. Okay,
Hello.
Hello.
I can't hear Swati.
Hello. So I can't hear you, Swati. Hello.
and B is, what is the rule for comparing fractions with the same numerator? Now, when you say the rule, don't make it very dry, okay? Along with that, you need to explain why the rule works. Okay, explain in a way that a child will understand. Okay, and when you create this rule, that is where the experience with the models or manipulatives can help. Okay, so this is task 1. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go back. So they have talked a bit in terms of equivalent fraction, etc., but not too much. Okay, so when you have this kind of situation, this 2/5 and 5/8 kind of a situation, that is where it's usually difficult Both the numerators are also different, denominator. Is going to help a lot, if you do this activity. So, you can think of task 2. So say you have, suppose you have the unit fractions for denominators 2, 3, all the way up to 12. Okay, 12, or if you want, you can go up to 15 or 16, up to you. Okay, whatever. And I mean, up to 12 is definitely possible. If you want, you can go up to 16 also. Though 13, 17 will, 13, 14, 13 will pose a bit of a problem. Okay. And now find all possible groups of unit fractions, groups of equivalent fractions. Okay, so this can be done.
Hello.
Group has one, let's say, reduced proper fraction. Okay, say for example 2/3. So 2/3 is the reduced one. See, for example, in 1/3 you will also have 3/9, and 3/9 is a proper fraction, but that's not the reduced one, right? So the thing is that once you do A, B should become automatic. Okay, once you have A, you can use A to create B. Okay, and I want you to reflect how you can use A to do B. Okay. If you have this list of equivalent fraction, that really helps with when you have to deal with comparing or adding or subtracting unlike fractions. So it's a good idea to deal with that, and then you get a sense of what is happening with respect to equivalent fractions. You get a sense of how to generate more equivalent fraction, and that having that sense is very important. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you, suppose you have a fraction, let's say
Hello. Hello.
The voice is breaking. I can't hear Swati voice.
So I'm also able to. Hello.
yes, I can
So-
hear you.
Your voice is breaking, Swati. So-
Okay. Okay, I was warned that the Wi-Fi is not good here. I'm at office today, different office, and looks like the case. So the question is, okay, let me type it out. How can you easily generate equivalent fractions of this guy, 3 by 7? Okay, is it clear? Is the question clear? Could you hear me?
Yes, Swati. The last question, no? How can you easily generate?
Yeah. So what will be a quick way to generate equivalent fractions if you want to generate one after the other?
Multiply denominator by that natural numbers 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Multiplication is trouble, you just keep on adding.
So you have to talk about both. How do you get the numerators? How do you get the denominators? Do you start with the numerators? Do you start with the denominators? Does it really matter?
Yes, we have to start with the denominator.
Why? Can't you start with the numerator also?
No, Swati, it should be start with the denominator. Because every 7 we have to mapping to 3. If you 14, then each 7 we are mapping to 3. It's 6 by 14.
Right. I don't disagree with that. But when you are trying to generate equivalent fractions, what you are doing is essentially you are looking for multiples of the given numbers, right? So in a way, you are basically looking at the table of 7 and the table of 3. Does that make sense?
Swati.
Yes.
Swati, we cannot hear you. Hello.
Okay, I
So
think
we are
one.
not-
Yes, Shiva.
We are not able to hear you, sir.
You are not able to hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about the connectivity. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's okay, but
Okay. So I'm saying you have to look at the tables of 7 and the tables of 3,
yes, sir.
right? So you will go 14, 21, 28, 35 like that to get the denominators of the equivalent fraction. Similarly, you will have to find the numerators also,
Yes.
right? So 14 is double of 7. So the numerator will be double of 3. So 21 is 3 times 7. So the numerator will be 3 times 3. 20, if 28 is 4 times 7, so the numerator is going to be 4 times 3. So like that, right? And I believe we talked about this. We had mentioned that how this works, right? So if you so this is 3 by 7. 3 by 7 part is shaded. Now, if you want to find its equivalent fraction, what you need to do is you need to split it this way, right? So if you split it in 4 parts, then the total number of pieces becomes 7 times 4, right? So that happens when you look at the whole square. Similarly, when you look at this portion, the shaded part, you can see that that is 3 times 4, that many pieces. So that gives you a sense, when you do this many a times, then that gives you a sense how you are multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number. Okay, so that comes from that square thing. Okay. So because once you fold it, it works very nicely with folding. Once you fold it, or even you draw this line, it just cuts all the pieces at one go. Whereas if overstrip in terms of this, okay? So instead of starting with 14, 21, 28, etc., you could have also started with the table of 3. You could have done 6, 12, 18, etc. And if the top is multiplied by 2, then you multiply the bottom by 2, etc. The same process could have also worked. So let us consider an example. Let's say we have...
Swati,
Yeah.
can you explain it again? Your voice has broken.
Can you just repeat yourself?
Can you explain this example again? 3 by 7, 3 by 3 into 4.
So we originally started with 3 by 7, right? This is what we had, 3 by 7.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if we want equivalent fractions, one of the ways to get it is, one easy way is to split it this way.
Okay.
Okay. So if we split it into 4 equal parts, okay, then notice that the total number of pieces
Okay.
Hello? Was this part clear how we got 7 by 4? Sorry, 7 times 4?
Yes, Swati.
Okay. So similarly, if you look at uh, the shaded portion, you can see that 3 times 4, that is 12 pieces are shaded. So that
Yes.
is how we are getting the 3 by 4 on top.
Okay.
See, any of this original 1/7 is getting split in 4 parts. Okay, so when you are thinking of number of pieces, there is a multiplication by 4 because each one has been chopped into so many pieces. So this one piece now has become 4. So the 3 pieces has become 3 times 4.
Okay.
Okay, each piece has become smaller, but the number of pieces has increased. And what the numerator represents are number of pieces which are chosen.
Yes, Swati.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is this clear now?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
It's black for me.
For me also.
Okay, I did. Oh, good. So, because we need space. Okay. This is something you need to do. Create a non-unit proper fraction. Okay. Using the square as a whole. Make copies and 2 more copies. And generate 2 equivalent fractions using them. Okay, is the task clear? So you have to take the square, you have to make a non-unit proper fraction using the square, your choice. Okay, so clearly half is not allowed, 1/3 is not allowed. I would say 3/4 is also. Okay, it doesn't allow copy paste. I wish it did. Oops. Anyway, so basically you make so you make 2 copies of this. Okay, so I guess I'll have to just make the copies myself because it doesn't allow copy paste. Okay. If you do it on a Word or something, you can just do copy paste or whatever. Okay, so that's 3 by 7. And now I'm going to use this to create an equivalent fraction. So and you need to send me the pictures.
Swati, can you repeat?
Is task 3 clear?
Swati, I can't hear you. Can you repeat this example one more time?
Is task 3 clear?
Swati, I can't hear you. Can you repeat this example one more time, please?
Hello?
Is it audible? So,
Yes, I can hear you.
She wants you to explain it again. She's not.
Okay, now since you can't hear me well, can someone else explain it? Can
Hello.
yes?
I'll tell what I understood.
Okay, go ahead.
So we need to create a module like this in the first one as 3 by 7, and then we need to create. We need to have a copy of it and create two equivalent fractions, like 3 into 4 by 7 into 4, and then again something else like 3 into 5 divided by 7 into 5.
Correct. And you choose your own proper fraction.
Yes.
See, unless you do it, it is not going to work. Once you do it, you will understand.
So the purpose of this task is to visualize the area that equivalent fraction has same area.
Yes. It's there in the textbook also. See, for some of you, it may be very, very simple. Okay, it's obvious almost. But for some of you, if you are not used to visualizing things like this, it will take a bit of work and there is no shortcut. You just have to do it.
It's the fraction multiplication, right? Hello.
Sundar, you asked something?
No, it's the program like this fraction multiplication program, right?
Is the equivalent fraction?
When you're talking about equivalent fractions, you cannot bring in fraction multiplication, right?
Okay.
Because that has not been introduced yet.
No,
This,
I meant the picture is.
the picture has a link, but it's still not
Okay.
multiplication yet. Okay? Because, okay, let me say it out loud. The reason why you're thinking of it as a multiplication, because in a way, this looks like 3 by 7 times 4 by 4. Right? These are equivalent. And that's nothing but 3 by 7 times 1. So when you're multiplying just by 1, okay, you can't think of it as a multiplication in a way, but not exactly. So that's why, it's better not to get there.
Hello.
There are several steps, okay? Now, step 1 or level 1 is like fractions. These are the easiest, okay? And you need to think of adding more pieces of the same type. And this you can think in terms of the fraction pieces that you have, Jodogan-Keat, etc. Okay? So this is easier. So for example, if you are adding, let's say, I'm going to make life easier here. Let's say you are adding 1/4 plus, let's say, no, let me take 1/8. 1/8 plus 3/8. Now 1/8 will look like a piece like this. Okay, so 3/8 will look like 3 such pieces. Right? So then when you add them up, total how many pieces are there?
4 pieces.
Exactly. So you get that 1 plus 3 or 4, whichever you want. Okay. Now, all these pieces are identical, right? You can actually superimpose them one on top of each other and see that they are all equal. How many? So which piece is this? That they should be able to answer because they only pick the pieces, right? So these are 1/8. So that is why you have total 4 1/8. So that is why you need to put the 8 here. This 8 basically means that 8 of these pieces make a whole. Okay. So the denominator talks about the size of the piece that we are dealing with, and the numerator talks about number of pieces. That's at the heart of everything. Okay. So if you think about in this line, then the kind of mistake that was highlighted and which is kind of common, that they add the numerators and add the denominators, that is not going to happen. Okay, so it has to be done with the physical materials and with that you start from here, get the models, put them together. That is where aggregation is at work, and then you write down what happens. Now this step, if you want, you can skip, no problem. Okay, so this was level 1. Now level 2 is important at class 6. Okay, so unlike fractions will be done in 3 steps. So level 2 is step 1, the first step of it. Denominators are factor multiple of each other. Okay, so let me share this. This is already there with you. Okay, okay, it is there in the drive. Okay, so when you do this, so these are the 2 fractions that you have to add. So what you do is you line them like this, and you can see that the fold lines are matching. Fold lines of one are matching with the other. That means that this one with less fold lines can be folded a bit more to look like the bottom one. Okay. Now once you do that, now both in terms of the fold lines both look the same. Both have been split in 6 parts. So this has become now 4 by 6. And this is what it was, 1 by 6. So now it's equivalent fractions, like fractions. So you can just add them. Okay. Let us take a look at similar situation for subtraction. So this is the first example. Okay. So same 2 numbers actually, 2/3 and 1/6. Okay. So you can fold that. Now you subtract this one. Okay. You have to subtract 1. So you subtract this one and you are left with 3. So the answer is 3 by 6. And if you want, you can reduce it to 1/2. That's a different thing. Okay. Now let's look at the second example. So 5 by 6 minus 2/3. So again, you can see that the fold lines are matching. So this can be folded to look like that. So once you have folded it, so this has 5 pieces, this has 4. So you subtract those 5, so the 4 pieces, and you are left with 1. So 5 by 6 minus 2/3 is 5 by 6 minus 4 by 6, like fractions, so you know how to do it. Okay. Is this part clear?
Yes.
The important thing here.
Swati?
Yeah.
2 by 3 minus 5 by 6. How can we explain this?
become
Okay,
rational.
we can't do that because 2 by 3 is a smaller fraction compared to 5 by 6. If
Yes.
we want to do that, we will get into rational numbers. So you can do it in class 8, but not in class 6. Okay?
Okay, for this, for doing that rational numbers, what we have to do? We can use this method.
Absolutely. In fact, this will build up to that. See, if they have a good understanding of fractions, that should be utilized to build up to rational numbers. Okay, that is why we are having this kind of detailed discussion. But then what happens is, instead of using the square, we will probably use the strip and number line aspect more. Because then, as you know, for rational numbers, we have to also deal with positive, negative, right? So we don't have too much choice other than number line. And that is where, we can have positive strips and negative strips, think about that. And probably you can abstract out a bit more. You can use more drawings rather than physical manipulatives. See, the thing is, if they're exposed to the manipulatives for fractions, that will help, build up that imagination, and that can be utilized when they deal with fractions. If they have less exposure with fractions, manipulatives of fractions, then they need more of that for rational numbers. Okay, so more exposure initially means you need less of that later on. Okay, so whoever had this question, 2/3 minus 5 by 6, why don't you try to make sense of that using some kind of visual? You can combine this on the number line, etc. Give it a shot. I would love to see that. Okay, please share it. And these are the good questions, keep them coming. Okay, so this is the second one. What is important in the second one is that in this case, okay, in level 2, one fraction remains same. You do not need to change both fractions. Okay, you need to observe and figure out, oh, only one fraction needs to be changed. Okay, and they should realize the fraction with the smaller denominator. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one, and the third one is very important. Because if you have to teach only one, you teach the third one. This is also unlike fractions, where denominators are co-prime. Okay, what does co-prime mean?
It has a common factor of 1 only.
Exactly. Okay, so this is also there in the PPT. So in this case, suppose you are adding 3/5 and 4/7. So when you line them up, you realize that the fold lines are not matching. So it's not the level 2 case, it's a new case. So then what you do is you split this 3/5, this fraction, into 7 strips. Okay, and then you split this 4 by 7 into 5 strips. Okay, and then you rotate the bottom one. Okay, you can, once you rotate it, you notice that, oh, the grids are identical. Okay, so it's the same pieces that I may have made up the whole thing. So in this case, now the 3/5 has become 3 times 7 by 5 times 7. So that's 21 by 35. this has become 4 times 5 by 7 times 5. So this is 28 by 35. So you have got equivalent fractions for those. And now we are in the like fraction situation. So just add them up. Okay. Similarly, if you want to subtract, okay, here is a similar one. Okay, you can see that they don't match. So you convert, make the grid, and then you rotate the bottom one so that the grids are similar. And then you kind of remove, there are what, 15 here. So you remove 15 from here. Whatever is left is the answer. So here you will get 4 times 7. That would be 28 over 35. This is 15 over 35. And so 28 minus 15, that's what you see here. 13 out of 35. Okay. So,
sorry?
Yeah.
The last, the addition case.
Mm-hmm.
Go to that slide. No, the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I am rotating. No?
Yeah.
So visually it's not looking like same. How can the children will understand both?
See, this rotation, this one is rotated to get here.
Yeah.
The rotation is done just to see that the grids match. The fold lines match, that's all, nothing else.
Not that shaded area is.
No.
Okay.
See, basically what is the basic thing about like fractions? The same pieces make both fractions.
Yeah.
Right? So to figure that out, your grid size has to match. Then you know that, oh, it's the same pieces. That's what is going on here. Okay?
Yes.
So when you draw it on a piece of paper, okay, you can easily rotate it to see that. And you can kind of superimpose and check, oh, okay, the same fold lines. Right? So these are very, easy to do stuff. Okay. Now this is what is highlighted in the book as cross multiplication. See, this one was already split in 5 parts. You split it in 7. So you can see the equivalent fraction that you get will be, you are multiplying numerator, denominator by 7. Similarly, this was originally split in 7. And the equivalent fraction that you will get the numerator, denominator multiplied by 5. Right? So you can see that cross multiplication, which is highlighted quite a bit in the textbook. Okay. So yeah, so from here they kind of, talk about that. Okay. And yeah, so this is how they highlight the cross multiplication aspect of it. Okay. If you have to teach students only one method, okay, the child is in a higher class, in class 7, class 8, class 9 or 10 and it's struggling with fractions or whatever, you teach this. Okay. What will happen is it may generate bigger numbers, bigger denominator, bigger numerator, but that's perfectly fine. The answer is still correct. It may not be reduced, but it will still be correct. Okay. What I found to be very interesting is they have shown only this. Okay. Now then they talk about, and they have dealt with, when you have this kind of, this is the level 2 situation. Okay. So they have dealt with level 2 and this is a classic level 3 situation. There is a level 4, okay, which they didn't discuss here when they discussed addition subtraction of unlike proper fractions. They went into improper and mixed and then they discussed it, okay. And they have the case of, yeah, this one. If you look at this, so the denominators are 4 and 6. Now, if you have denominators like 4 and 6, the cross multiplication will work, but you can do with even less. This is the level 4 case, okay? So let me mention that. Level 4 is unlike fractions where denominators are neither co-prime nor factor multiple of each other, okay. Now this is where ideally you need LCM. LCM optimizes, okay. In level 2, one of the denominator becomes the common denominator. In level 3, because of co-prime, the product becomes the common denominator, product of the denominators. But for level 4, because they are not co-prime, neither factor multiples of each other, if you want to take the smallest common multiple, that's different from the product. Okay, so this is where the LCM kind of comes in. LCM pops up, and it was very interesting that the textbook does not mention LCM at all. It talks about common multiple. It mentions common multiple, okay? It says common multiple of 4 and 6 is 12. It doesn't go into list common multiple, which is kind of interesting. The thing is, any common multiple does the job. You look for the LCM, list common multiple, because that makes the number smaller. But if you use cross multiplication, you would have gotten 24, which is still a common multiple. Not LCM, but common multiple, and that would have done the job. Okay? So, just now, if you look at this PPT, okay, that I'm sharing with you, if you have that kind of a situation, see between 4 and 10, the LCM is 20, whereas if you cross multiply, you get 40. Okay, so I have shown both cases. If you cross multiply, then this is the situation you get. And if you just try to get to 20, then this is how it looks. Okay, the thing is, this is split in 20, this is also split in 20, but the pieces don't look the same. The pieces are not congruent. They are equal in terms of area, but they are not congruent. So this is where, if you are going to use square, this works perfectly. Okay. If you want to explain the LCM thing with square, it will not work as well. So be aware of that. Okay. So I thought, just wanted to let you know. See, each model or manipulative may have certain limitation, and this is one limitation of the square. you can do everything with square, except when you have to reduce things. Go from a 3 by 6 to 1 by 2. That part doesn't work so well with the square. Okay. So, so when you are in level 4, that is where you can use the strip or the circle, no problem. The square doesn't play so nicely here. Okay. So now once you get here, so this is the order in which you have to go: level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Okay, and it's completely okay to skip level 4, especially for older children. Once you get here, there are different ways to get to the common multiple. Once you get to common multiple, that is where invoking the strip really helps. So you have one fraction and you have got the other fraction, and so let's say this is split in, this is 1/3. Okay, and let's say this is 1/5 or 2/5. Okay, 2/5 and 1/3. Okay, and if you want to now break them into small semi pieces, so obviously you need to split them further. So these will have to be split into 1/3 each, and these has to be split into 1/5. Okay, I made a mistake. This should have been, this guy should have been the same size. Yeah. Okay, better. Yeah. So there goes the 1/5. Okay. This is all shaded. This is shaded. Okay. So then if it is done properly, you know that each of these pieces, so there will be total 15 pieces making this whole. Okay, maybe I shouldn't write it here. Okay, there are 15 pieces that make this whole. It will be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So 3 times 5, that's 15. And out of which 3 plus 3, 6 are shaded. So you get 6 by 15. And out here it will be 5 plus 5 plus 5. So again 15. Out of which 5 are shaded. Right? So again, when you combine them, you get 6 plus 5 over 15. So we started out with 2 by 5 plus 1/3 and that turned out to be 6 by 15 plus 5 by 15, and then once it is like fractions, you know what to do. Okay. So once you know how to get common denominator, so common denominator would be common multiple of both the denominators. Then visualizing it as a strip is going to help, because if you visualize it as a strip, you can then map it onto the number line. Okay. So you can think about that as, you know, say this is number line and you have 0, and you think of this as 1 by 115, then 2 by 115, 3 by 115, and so on like that. And you see, okay, so 6 pieces will come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is where the first fraction comes up to this. And then you need 4 more, 5 more. So this is where the second fraction comes. So this is the first fraction, second fraction, so total. Okay. So this is how the strip will help you map it onto the number line. Okay. Now, if children are good with numbers, if they're good at getting equivalent fractions, if they're good at figuring out common multiple, if they're figuring out what will be the common denominator, then they will be able to jump to this much faster, and you should encourage them to do that. Okay. Child to child this varies, but this imagination is going to help them big time when it comes to rational numbers. So getting here is important. Okay. Notice that if you look at this one, it kind of builds up to that. You see, 2 7, first one, then 3 by 7. If you squash this over to one line, then that is 0, 1 by 7, 2 by 7. First fraction. So here 0, 1 by 7, 2 by 7, then 3 by 7, 4 by 7, 5 by 7. Right? First fraction, second fraction. This is where it gets into improper. So 0, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and then you have to add 4 more. 4/5, 5/5, 6/5, 7/5. Right? Has gone into improper. Similarly, you can think about this the same way. So you have got this 4, and then you add 1 more here. So 0, 1 by 6, 2 by 6, 3 by 6, 4 by 6, 5 by 6. Okay. For subtraction, you can think of it in a similar line. You have to look at how much is left. Okay. So you had 0, 1 by 7, 2 by 7, 3 by 7, 4 by 7, 5 by 7, right? And you took away 2 7 from here. Instead, if you had taken 2 7 from this end, okay, then you will get it here, okay? But when it comes to subtraction, we will discuss integers first and then rational numbers, because subtracting a negative number can be painful, can be difficult. So we need to, you know, build up to that. But as far as positive numbers are concerned, you can think of it both, you know, taking it from here or taking it from here. If you take it from this end, then you think of this as length, and the answer you get as the position on the number line. If you take it from here, then you are taking the second fraction also as a position, and then the answer you get as in terms of this length. Okay. So here both works, because even when you are thinking of, this 2/7 as a position on the number line, this position is mapped to, this distance from 0. So that is fine. When we get into negative numbers, along with the distance from 0 comes the direction also. So that is what complicates stuff. So we'll get there later. So let me pause here. Any question?
Swati, I have a question on the steps.
Yeah.
For the step, for splitting, they have to know the LCM, because then if they taken as this is 5, this is 3. So when they are splitting, it should be equal to 15. Here also 15. So if they know LCM, then only is easy for splitting.
Yes, not necessarily LCM, but it's fine if they don't know LCM, but basically they have to find a common multiple. In case of 3 and 5, LCM is also the product, which is easy to figure out. If it was instead 4 and 10, then the product will do, 40 will do, but 40 is not the LCM. So LCM is not so important, but common multiple is important. Now some textbooks will talk about LCM. Tamil Nadu State textbook doesn't talk about it. So it's your choice. The thing is, pretty much the only reason LCM is there in the syllabus is because we need it to do fractions. Okay? I mean, to optimize fraction addition, subtraction, etc. And that is also the reason why HCF is there. We will talk about more of that next week maybe. But if you don't want to optimize to that extent, if you are just satisfied with common multiple, okay, then you can completely ditch LCM and you are not going to lose much, frankly. So for children in higher grades, if they don't understand LCM, don't understand HCF, don't bother. They're not going to lose out much. Trust me. I mean, if they're curious, if they want to learn, that's a different thing. Otherwise, no need to push it.
Swati?
Yeah.
So this all can be done with circle, is it?
It can be done with circles, but because you want to get to rational numbers, at some point, getting to the number line using the strip is a good idea. The problem with circle is there is only one way to split the circle into equal parts, where you have to split it into sectors. And the sectors start to get very thin very fast. Okay? And whereas in square, you can divide it both horizontally and vertically. So that's an advantage. So circle, again, good starting point. But when you have larger things, it helps to use something else also. In case of a circle, let me clear and show you something. So, how do I make it just an outline? Okay. Anyway, let's see. Let's start with this. So let's say this is split in okay, 1/3. Now, if you want to split it into 1/15, so you have to split each one of these into 5 parts. Is that done? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Then to move to it. So that's how you can think of, getting to equivalent fractions. Okay. So similarly, if you have okay, fine, let it be. If you have another circle, I'm trying to get it to the same size. Okay, and you have 1/5. Okay. Okay, and then you want to divide each of them into 1/15, so that will be like this. So then both will be split in the same way. So this is how it works for circle.
Yes.
So here is something I would like you to think about. This will be task. Okay, 2 things. Task 4. Okay. Find examples for each level. Addition and subtractions. Okay, two examples for each. Okay, and then I have another task. That's the last one. Task 5. Okay, I just forgot. What did I think about task 5? Okay, I blanked out. If I remember task 5, I remember. Okay. So, while adding mixed fractions, you can add the wholes separately and add the parts separately. Okay. Can something similar be done for subtracting mixed fractions? Okay. So, more precisely, suppose you have 4 2/3 minus 1 1/4. Okay. Can you do this without converting these into improper fraction? So this is one example. The other example will be 4 or let's say 5 1/3 minus 2 3/4. Okay. Can these two be done without converting them into improper fractions? For addition, the textbook has shown how it is to be done. But when it came to subtraction, they just converted into improper. Okay. Is it possible to deal with this? So think about this. Okay, and if you can come up with something, that will be awesome. Again, pictures are more than welcome anytime. But if you want, you can write up the steps, etc., and that is fine too. Okay. So that's all from my end today. So we'll discuss this on Friday. Okay. It will be helpful if one of you collate all these tasks and either send an email or post on the WhatsApp group. Okay.
I can do that.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. So that's all for today. Yes, Savitri, you have any question or anything?
I'm thinking how I make it for the last one, task 5, no?
Think about it. See if it can be done.
Yeah, if I have any doubt, I will mail you. I will try to solve myself. While having question, I will ask you.
Absolutely. We'll discuss it.
Thank you. Thank you, Swati.
You're welcome.
Swati, I think I found the answer for 5th task.
Okay, very good. You want to share right now? We have 4 minutes.
We have to subtract first the 4 with -1. We got 3. And we have to subtract the second fraction, 2/3 minus 1/4. Then we have to add the 2 1.
Exactly.
3 5/12.
Yes. That's the easy one.
Yeah. But we have to represent the picture also.
And no, this is fine.
Okay.
But the next problem, 5 and 1/3 minus 2 and 3/4. Can you do the same thing that way? You are doing fractions.
I didn't catch the first
numbers.
part, which Vasant said. What did he say?
He said the first one, 4 and 2/3 minus 1 and 1/4 is 4 minus 1 plus 2/3 minus 1/4.
This becomes 3 whole.
Yeah, so it becomes 3 and then whatever you get, 2/3 minus 1/4.
Okay. But the second one, it's the opposite, right?
Yes.
This one is smaller, that one is
Ah, so that is where that is not going to work exactly, but is there any way we can do something? Think about it. So you have understood what can be done, you have understood the problem.
You keep this 1/3, you borrow from the whole cake, and then, I don't know.
It involves something which is, it is kind of like borrowing, but we don't want to use the word borrowing because it's the same number, right? The same way, it's a popular term, but it's not a really good term. So when we want to subtract 17 from 31, we don't have enough ones, right? So we do something. So similar something can be done here. Okay? And think about it along this line.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank you, Swati.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.